What's going on, guys? Sticks here with the Token Minorities, bringing you another deck on Pokemon TCGO, and today I am bringing you one of the craziest legacy decks that I have ever run into, and I mean, you can already tell based on the fact that it literally runs 4 supporters and 29 fire energy, and that is Magmortar Emboar UL. And before I get into the deck, just a reminder that if you guys like this video or found it helpful, please leave a like, drop a comment, click that subscribe button. It helps us out a ton and lets us do more cool stuff for you guys. And then as for the question of the day, honestly, I'm just going to start using my normal Sunday question as my Friday question. Did you guys have anything cool happen to you this past week? If so, what? Or do you guys have anything planned cool for the next week? For me, I mean, school's just really starting to get in full swing, getting really busy. So this past week, I was a lot of orientation, getting acclimated. Well, not really moving in because I moved in a little while ago, but really just learning the curriculum, getting acquainted to my classmates, learning where all my classes are, just trying not to kill myself by getting myself lost in the wrong place. And then as for this next week, homework and lots of it. So yeah, pretty boring existence on my behalf. But anyway, let me know if anything exciting has happened to you in this past week or is going to happen to you in this upcoming week. I would love to hear what is going on with you guys. But anyway, on to the deck. This is, I mean, honestly, there's really not a whole lot to talk to. I mean, it's Magmortar UL. What this is Magmortar with the top burner attack. I mean, yeah, it has Burst Punch, but for each fire energy attached to Magmortar, discard the top card of your opponent's deck, then flip a coin. If tails, discard all fire energy attached to Magmortar. So what we do is we use Emboar with Inferno Fandango, which as often as you like during your turn, you may attach a fire energy from your hand to one of your Pokemon. Basically what that does, just attach fire energy over and over and over to Magmortar in the hopes that you can eventually deck your opponent out, and in some cases you can discard like 20, you can discard like 29 cards. I guess we cap out at 29 in this deck, but yeah, you can discard a whole bunch of cards in one turn with Magmortar, and if your opponent isn't able to immediately knock that thing out, you basically just win, because like if you get 2 20 card top burners, there's not much your opponent can do to come back from it. Now there are a couple lists going around that I tried out. This one is by Simon Narode, so shout outs to him, but this was the best one I found. There have been others that literally just run like Twins and Magmortar Emboar, and then you just kind of like in 40 fire energy. But this one, I mean, it runs it's funny as this is to say, it runs a smaller amount of fire energy compared to those other decks, and this one still runs 29, but this one is more kind of geared towards consistency as opposed to that one game where you can do a 30 energy top burner, which is just absolutely ridiculous. But really the strategy, like I said, is obviously around Magmortar and Emboar just being able to use Inferno Fandango, put a ton of energy on Magmortar, and then discard basically your opponent's entire deck with top burner. We are combining that with Victini with Victory Star, because the drawback is if you flip tails, you lose all that energy, and yeah, you don't want to spend that entire time putting 20 energy onto Magmortar just to immediately have to discard it. So even though there is a 25% chance of failing that, Victini allows you to have a 75% chance of keeping the energy on your Magmortar. So this is really just the core strategy right here, and the rest of the mons are simply designed for being able to consistently get this up. Pichu is the main thing with, I mean, it's 30 HP, free, nothing across the board, no weakness, no resistance, no retreat cost, and the reason we use it is Playground. Each player may search his or her deck for as many basic Pokemon as he or she likes and put them onto his or her bench, then shuffle the deck afterwards. So I mean, this does help out the opponent, but the goal of this deck is really just get a Pichu out, use Sweet Sleeping Face, get a couple Magmar, a Tepig, a Shuckle, and a Victini out, and then let Pichu die, so that way you are just able to attach a bunch of energy. And Shuckle is really also the reason that this deck works as well as it does with Fermenting Liquid. This is the promo Shuckle that I was fortunate enough to get my hands on. Whenever you attach an energy card from your hand to Shuckle, draw a card. So basically what you do is you Inferno Fandango with Emboar, attach energy to Shuckle to just draw cards insanely consistently. When you need to, you can play down this Unown with Return. Once during your turn, when you play Unown from your hand onto your bench, you may return all energy attached from one of your Pokemon to your hand. So you just throw like 30, or not 30, I'm going to be saying like 30 a bunch, even though there are 29 energy in this deck, but you just attach energy to Shuckle to draw through as much of your deck as you can, and then when you realize, I'm out of energy, you use Super Scoop Up Cyclone to pick up Shuckle and the energy, or you play down Unown to get all that energy back to your hand, rinse and repeat as much as you need. Just be careful not to deck yourself out in the process. Super Scoop Up and Scoop Up Cyclone are both used just to, well, it's mainly for Shuckle. It's almost entirely for Shuckle. Just pick up the energy all up off of it. And I mean, technically you can use it with Unown, but I end up using it with Shuckle anyway because you just play Shuckle back down with a bunch of energy. And so you just kind of rinse and repeat on that max number of Super Scoop Up, max number, well, I say max number of Scoop Up Cyclone, which is technically true, but you can only run one for Twins because the goal of this deck, get a Pichu out, set up, let it get knocked out, and then you can use Twins, because this deck isn't going to be taking prizes. Then you use Twins to rare candy into Emboar, and then just start attaching energy to Shuckle until you draw into everything else you need. We are running 2 rare candy to go straight from Tepig into Emboar, 2 random receiver just to get Twins as soon as we can. So I mean, this is very, very straightforward, and then 29 fire energy just to be able to try to discard as many cards of our opponent as we can with Top Burner. So I mean, this is just very, very straightforward deck, and it's awful, don't get me wrong, it is a very bad deck, but when has that ever stopped me before? Let's go ahead and try to see this deck in action. Alrighty, we have found one against the Joels, and it looks like we are up against a Ray Eels deck. So, fingers crossed they don't see what I'm doing until it's too late, and we are able to just, well, they go through like half their deck, that way we can just, you know, do all that energy stuff in order to be able to knock them out. So yeah, I start with a Tepig and another Tepig, get a mulligan off of my opponent, so we will be able to at least get another card. I really am just hoping for a Pichu, that way I can fully set up and then hopefully get going, maybe? This deck, it's such a joke. I mean, I'm probably going to get absolutely demolished, but if my opponent just plays through a bunch of cards in their first couple turns and leaves them with like a 30 card or less deck, then Magmortar just might be able to mill them out. Sorry, I bumped the desk right there. And yeah, now we're just waiting on my opponent, I guess. See what they're gonna play down. Maybe. I feel like the Jeopardy theme should be playing right here. Maybe if I can just like get that going in. I mean, I would be talking about something else, but I literally, like, I have Tepig, and 3 fire energy. So there's that. Yes, I would like a card, and it's a Magmortar, so that doesn't really help me. Darn. So let's play the energy onto Tepig and end the turn. Just make it seem like, well, I mean, our hand kind of is dead, but hopefully my opponent goes through a bunch of cards. And unfortunately, he will be able to portrait and see that Magmortar, so he's like, oh, I'm just not going to play a ton of cards. Like, I just have to play smart. Because, I mean, with this deck, I basically get one good shot with Magmortar to deck you out. Otherwise, it really doesn't do a whole lot. And once that real one shot, maybe 2 are gone, then I really can't do much of anything. My opponent is just play Pokemon Collector. That's the smart play, and then is probably just gonna portrait, see that I have nothing, and look at the Magmortar and be like, huh, better not deck myself out. So yeah, we have a lone Tepig, and that's what we got. My opponent is going to Ultra Ball right here. Probably grab another. Wonder what he's gonna grab. Because if I can get Twins going, if my opponent takes a knockout on this Tepig, then I can start going ham, and okay, my opponent's like, hey, Victini can just blow through my opponent's deck. Oh boy. So I have a Scoop Up Cyclone. What I'm going to do is play down another Tepig. And then I think, you know what? Let's flare. Let's flare. Let's just start hitting this Smeargle. Maybe I can get something out of my prizes that can help me. Probably not, but I mean, it's always, you can always hope. We can always have hope that maybe something will come through. Yeah, I think at this point we both might just be drawing dead because my opponent might have just been relying on my relying on his portrait in order to get him a supporter. But unfortunately, joke's on him, I don't have a good supporter. Or my opponent's actually DCing, which, I mean, hey, it's a win, question mark? I don't know. But he is just going to portrait again, see if I drew anything. I did not. Just going to look at that Scoop Up Cyclone. And then, oh, he has a Skyla in hand. So he's going to be able to grab a supporter. Yeah, he grabs an Oaks and anything. I was hoping he'd grab an N, but, I mean, that's just kind of a pipe dream at this point. I get a rare candy. I'm actually... Do I want to go ahead and do this? Yes, in case my opponent manages to end me or something. I want to have Emboar set up, because Emboar is really just kind of the thing that makes this deck go. And then let's go for Flare again, maybe. You know what? Let's attach another energy and go for Rollout. Yeah, I think that's the play. Let's go for maybe. Nah, you know what? Let's keep the energy. Let's just Flare. I don't want to waste too many energy on Tepig because I want to put a ton of energy on Magmortar. I really just need a Pichu at this point, because once I get a Pichu, I will be able to... once I get a Pichu, I'll be able to set up my entire board with the Shuckle, with a couple Magmar, and go from there. So I really need my opponent to knock out my Tepig. I really want him to, but I know that my opponent's going to be smart about it and be like, hey, he needs me to knock out his Tepig to activate his twins. I'm just not going to do that, so... Unfortunately, we are playing a smart opponent. Don't you hate when you do that? Don't you hate when you run into somebody who actually knows how to play the game? I mean, then all of a sudden, like, you're really just gimmicky bad deck is no longer decent. It's actually what it is, gimmicky and bad. So, yeah, we're just kind of crossing our fingers that our opponent will go through too many cards. I mean, getting down to 30. So, if we can get them just a little bit lower, we might have a chance. Alright, I get another Fire Energy. I mean, that's going to be happening a lot. I'm just going to Flare again. Like, I really don't want to commit another energy to Tepig. And I'm actually kind of disappointed that I'm not able to show this deck off to you guys, because I really want to show you what happens with, like, once I'm able to get a Pichu in play. Now, unfortunately, it looks like my Emboar is going to be... Yeah, I'm going to Eviolite up the Victini, play an energy onto Smeargle. Is this where my opponent starts attacking? I think it might be. It's going to Portrait once again, see if I can draw, see if I have any supporters. Ha, joke's on you, I just got a Twins. And now my opponent is going to start absolutely destroying me. So there's that. Yeah, I don't know why he's powering up Rayquaza. Like, there's really nothing I can do about that. He knocks out my Tepig. Emboar, unfortunately, has that super hefty retreat cost, which I really don't want to deal with, but I might just have to go for it. So let's go ahead and Twins finally. Let's Twins. Let's grab a Pichu, and then I think another Twins. Maybe? Actually, no. Let's grab a Random Receiver. Just thin out my deck a tiny bit. Let's play Pichu down. Let's Super Scoop Up, see if I can hit the heads on the Emboar, which I do. And I hate to do this, but I kind of have to. And then let's play the Tepig down. And then now let's go ahead and Playground. Maybe I can buy a turn. Yes, I would. I very much would like to. Grab a Shuckle, a Victini, and a Magmar, and 2 Magmar, because I have 2 Magmortar. And I can always just... Twins for a rare candy once again next turn, and maybe, yeah, I mean, my opponent can't do anything. Like, he can't fill up his bench anymore, so, okay, now we're starting to do something. Now we're starting to get somewhere. Unfortunately, Magmortar has exactly 100 HP, and I wasn't able to buy a turn, darn it. Unfortunately, Magmortar has exactly 100 HP. If it even had 110, I think I would be in a spot where I could win this game. But I think because Victini is going to be able to just one-shot them every single time, they won't have to rely on... I mean, okay, to be fair, I think if Magmortar had more than 100 HP, then my opponent would simply just Rush Treat with Keldeo and use Rayquaza to come through. But, I mean, either way, we're going. My opponent is being smart, not playing anything. Let's grab that Twins, which, I mean, we knew we were getting. Let's Twins, grab a Rare Candy for sure. And then probably... What else do I want to grab? Maybe another Twins? Maybe a Super Scoop Up? What do I want to grab? Let's just grab a Super Scoop Up. Yeah, for the... No, let's grab the Unknown. That way I can for sure have the ability to get all the energy back. Let's evolve up both of these Magmar. And this is where my turns get stupid. Because what I'm going to do now, Rare Candy up the Tepig into Emboar. And then let's just start attaching energy to Shuckle and drawing a stupid amount of cards. So this is where I might actually draw through my deck. So let's play that on a Shuckle, draw Fire Energy, choose a different Fire Energy, I get another Magmortar, play another energy onto Shuckle, and I have to try to not deck out too. So there's that as well. Honestly, I'm just going to do this until I have a ton of energy. Unfortunately, I don't think I have... Well, I know I don't have enough energy to win the game at this point if my opponent continues to play it smart like they've been doing and just not play cards. Like, if my opponent got their deck down to 20, I could have done something. But unfortunately, because they knew what they were doing, I don't think I'm going to be able to deck them out in time to win the game. So let's go ahead and just Scoop Up Cyclone the Shuckle and all of the energy once again. That way I can just play this back down and repeat the process. So now my turns are going to be just stupidly long. So energy onto Shuckle, yes, thank you, get another Fire, and then I still have the Unknown to get all the energy back. So yeah, what this turn is now going to consist of is just playing energy onto Shuckle. I really, again, I don't see how I can win this game. I mean, I'm obviously still going to play it out because, I mean, at the very worst, I just discard 20 cards of my opponent's deck and then we forfeit, calling it a win for us. But either way, let's just keep attaching this energy. Like, I'm going to keep attaching, just looking for an out. I mean, at the same time, I'm also keeping track of my deck. That way I don't deck myself out. And then I think... Is this where I start? I think this is where I have to start. Nah, I need a couple more energy. Otherwise, I think I'm going to put myself down to 2 or 3. Yeah, let's put myself down to... Let's put myself down to 2. And now let's start going for Magmortar. This potentially gives me the chance to... draw out of it in the right situation, but, I mean, again, I really don't see how I'll be able to win this. So yeah, we do flip tails, but now we get to play the Unknown, and it's not an item, it's a Pokemon. Yes, I want to return all the energy attached to Shuckle back to my hand. And, I mean, I'm going to lose this because I have no method of energy recursion. Like, if I had a way of getting all the energy back into my hand, then I definitely could win this, just because all I need is just 2 turns of this. But unfortunately, once again, it's a gimmick. It's gonna be weak to good play, and my opponent played it out smart. I mean, he saw what deck I was running and made the proper plays in order to beat me. So props to my opponent for not being flustered by a dumb gimmick deck. And yeah, now I think we just lose. So I'm gonna maybe spread the energy slightly just to have 2 potential top burners, but I mean, Victini's going to be able to one-shot them anyway, so it really doesn't matter overall. I'm just kind of spreading them out to make it look like I know what I'm doing, and I'm not just going all in on one thing that's going to get knocked out. And then I'm going to save a single Fire Energy. Let's go for a top burner, flip tails. All right, can we flip heads? Yes, please. Flip heads. There we go. All right, so I keep the energy attached to me. And, I mean, yeah, I just lose. Like, Victini's going to knock me out. I don't have enough energy to win the game, or to deck my opponent out. Like, if I had 6 more energy, I could win. Like, if I had... What would I have? If I had, like, Energy Pouch attached to Magmortar, then I would have been able to win, as all that energy would go back to the hand. But unfortunately, that's not in the standard format. Well, that's not in the Legacy format. It is in standard. It's not in Legacy. So, yeah, we're just going to attach to Magmortar, go out in a blaze of glory, and twins, let's just deck myself out. You know what? Yeah, I'm decking myself out, but you know what? We're going out. We're going out as best we can. Got my opponent down to 4 cards. If I had 4 more fire energy, I would have been able to win. And then all my fire energies go into the discard pile. That's not a big deal because we lose anyway. All my opponent has to do is pass. But you know what? We played well. I consider that a win for us, and I'm just scooping because I mean I literally lose. Like, I just lose. That's plain and simple. Like, Magmortar, you did good, Magmortar. Tepig, you're the MVP. You're the real MVP. And if I could have gotten going earlier, I might have won. But let's be real. I was just against an opponent who knew what they were doing, so they were able to easily outmaneuver my gimmick deck. And I'm not satisfied with that one. Let's go ahead and see if we can actually get somebody to fall for this deck out strategy of this super bad gimmick deck. Alrighty, we found another potential victim for Magmortar Mill, and it's Skiller Zero. I didn't even see all the numbers that went along with that. So, no idea what he's running. I see lightning and grass. So I'm just utterly confused at this point. We do lose the coin flip, which actually is not a huge deal because we want to Pichu as quickly as possible. And would you look at that, we actually even start with it. So this is, not gonna lie, this is kind of a perfect opening hand for this deck. That's great. So I'll be able to Pichu. I have a twins for getting not Magmortar, getting Emboar set up. I have a Shuckle already out. There's a Genesect, so I think, yeah, looking at this, I think this is one of those, like, this is a non-top tier legacy deck. It's one of those, yeah. I mean, at least I'm pretty positive. Yeah, we see the Rocky Helmet. So it doesn't look like this is a super competitive legacy deck, but I mean, then again, I am running frickin' Magmortar Mill, so I can't talk at all. Let's play an energy onto Shuckle, see what we can get. We get another energy, big shocker there. Yeah, let's just go ahead and playground. Set up a Tepig, set up a Victini, and 2 Magmar, I think. Yeah, I think that's a play because I already have a Shuckle in play. So I might as well get 2 Magmars out and go from there. And then twins, what I can do once he knocks out my Pichu is to just start chaining them together. Just start chaining twins for like a rare candy and a twins, then for a Magmortar and a twins, or just something to that effect. Just be able to chain those guys together in order to be able to get them going. Because literally all I need is just Emboar, and my draw engine should be pretty solid for the rest of the game because of Shuckle. My opponent will take this opportunity to set up as well, and the fact that, I mean, we see Thundurus, Genesect, and Bouffalant. Like, it's a cool idea just to raid knuckle onto Genesect, I guess, is what he's going for. So, I mean, in theory, it's pretty cool, but I think Verzian, well, Celebi Genesect just kind of outclasses it completely. I didn't know not a lot of people have access to Celebi Prime. So, I mean, I guess Thundurus is like kind of a pseudo, maybe like a, yeah, it's like a pseudo Celebi to get it from the discard pile when you discard your energy from G-Booster. So, I mean, hey, props to my opponent for trying something cool. There's a Tropius as well, so, oi. But what I'm going to do here is just attach to Shuckle, see if I can draw into a rare candy. I do not, but I do get a Random Receiver, which there's a rare candy, 12 energy. And I get another twin, so I'm just going to end it right there. I could potentially try to put Pichu to sleep, but at this point I want my opponent to knock out Pichu. Because, I mean, I want him to knock it out so that I can start activating twins and then start going for top burner with Magmar that way, or Magmortar that way, you know, I can actually potentially try to win the game with this deck, even though it's, like, this deck doesn't win, it, like, this deck doesn't win. It kind of just not loses, if that makes any sense. Like, it avoids losing, even though it does lose, and we saw it lose, so there's that as well. And my opponent is taking their time. Please don't DC. Please don't DC. Okay, good. So it was just thinking about where to attach the energy. Makes a good play of attaching to Verzian, and then is going to... Whoa. Now, see, I've Colressed before, but that's a Colress. Well, then again, I have Colressed for 16 before when Skyfield is in play, so, I mean, that was the best Colress I've ever had. My opponent keeps attaching Rocky Helmets. I'm not going to be attacking at all. Oh, you know what my opponent might have been doing? He might have been looking at the cards on my bench being like, okay, what the heck does Shuckle do? Or what the heck does Magmar do? And then he does not attack me, which, please attack me. I want to be attacked. And then let's just attach to Shuckle, see if we can get another rare candy. But we do get a second Magmar. Or Magmortar. So, yeah, that's okay with me. Please just knock out my Pichu. Please do. I want this Pichu gone. And then hopefully my opponent will not just get a Genesect powered up and be able to run through Magmar, because that'd be one way my opponent could win. Maybe he won't go for Genesect as much, fearing that I'm a fire type and I'll be able to knock it out in one hit, even though I won't, but maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I just want my opponent to go into Virizion, knock out my Pichu. That way I can get my deck going, because all I need is a rare candy, and I'm just going to be going to town. Like, once I get a rare candy, I'm going to be able to just start milling the rest of my opponent's deck with Magmortar. He is going to Skyla. Please grab like a Juniper or something like that. Grabs an Ether? Huh. Well, that's something, I guess. Ethers, let's see, what is... top and he hits the Ether, so of course he hits the Ether. Why wouldn't he? Sigh. But he will be able to knock out my Pichu finally with Genesect, and then with that Genesect, if my opponent does not hit heads against a Magmortar, then I will live and I'll be able to top burner twice, because I think that's what it's going to come down to. I think it's actually going to come down to whether or not my opponent is able to hit heads off of his attack from Genesect. I already forgot what it was called, but here we go. All right, now we're starting to cook with gas, because I can twins, grab that rare candy, and I also grab a Scoop Up Cyclone. That way I can scoop up the Shuckle for later in order to be able to put the energy on Magmortar. And then, yeah, once again, this is where the turns get really boring, because it's like, well, I played a fire energy, I drew into a fire energy. And right now I'm literally just trying to get like 15 energy onto Magmortar. That way I can potentially knock out, that way I can deck him out in 2 turns. So let's scoop up, Super Scoop Up, pick up the Shuckle, and then I think, yeah, I'm honestly just going to rinse and repeat at this point, get all 10 energy back into my hand, play the Shuckle right back down, and then Inferno Fandango once again, and just put all this energy back onto Shuckle. So I think we might actually have a chance at this point. So if I had to use my Scoop Up Cyclone, I would be a little bit more careful with how much energy I'm playing on Shuckle, because Super Scoop Up is not reliable, and then Unknown I haven't drawn into. Like, if I had the Unknown or the Scoop Up Cyclone in my hand, I would be doing what I'm doing, just playing it onto Shuckle, knowing that, oh yeah, I'm going to get all this energy back. If I didn't, then I'd be a little bit more careful, be like, you know what, I might not be able to get all this back. So what I think I'm going to do here, Random Receiver, that way I don't draw into my other twins off of my Inferno Fandangos. And then I'm going to start Inferno Fandangoing once again, get even more energy onto Shuckle. Yeah, I just, like, once I drew the Random Receiver, I was like, you know what, let's make myself draw into more energy this way. And yeah, I mean, just going through the rest of my deck just leave me with barely any cards at all. And at this point, I think I'm going to try to start top burning my opponent's deck. So let's go ahead and do that. If my opponent flips tails, then I have a chance. Let's Super Scoop Up, see what we can get. Yes, we do get heads, so all those energy are coming back to my hand once again. And yeah, so let's just go ahead and Inferno Fandango, start piling them up onto Magmortar. I'm going to put myself in a spot to where I have multiple chances to win if my opponent doesn't, basically I'm making my opponent hit heads a bunch of times in order to guarantee the win, is what I'm trying to do. So let's go ahead and put 15, let's put 15 onto this Magmortar. Yeah, that way it's 2 turns, or no, is 14 good enough? No, I think I need 15. And then let's spread it. Let's play the other Shuckle back down. And then I think, yeah, let's just Top Burner. I could knock out the Genesect, but I do hit heads, so 15 cards in my opponent's deck are gone if my opponent ends. And no, I would not like to reflip. I want to keep all this energy on my Magmortar. And I really wish I had another Magmar, that way I could split the energy up once again, but I kind of had to just go all in on these two. Just pray that my opponent doesn't flip heads at one of these points. Because if my opponent flips 2 heads with Genesect's attack... What? Why is my... So even if my opponent does hit heads, I think I still win. Because I will... I'm pretty positive I have 3 more energy left in the deck at least. Like, I mean, unless my prizes are literally entirely energy. So he does... I win. Yeah, I mean, he flipped tails. I was forcing him to flip heads, and now all I have to do is just Top Burner. I don't care if I hit heads or tails. I mean, I hit heads, so that's something. And no, I would not like to reflip. And we are able to win the game finally with a deck out. Admittedly, it was not against a super competitive deck, but you know what? Nonetheless, I'm taking this. This 100% counts as a win. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. And this is Styx signing out. Why not? See you guys.